Hi everyone, it's Marty Hines again, and as you can see just over my shoulder, the majestic Sandia Mountains here in the Albuquerque, New Mexico area. And back out over my shoulder here, you could perhaps catch a glimpse of the beautiful city of Albuquerque. I am standing on the West Mesa out in Rio Rancho, New Mexico, that overlooks to the east Albuquerque and the Rio Grande Valley behind me. And what I want to talk with you today about is resistance. I work out 3 days a week in the gym, and I also do some bike riding, cycling on my other days. And through cycling, I have learned over time some important things about resistance and how resistance can work positively for you or it can work negatively for you. But it's necessary. We find resistance in our life all the time. It's there. It just depends on what we do with resistance, on whether it works for us or it works against us. As you can see, this beautiful landscape here in New Mexico, there's a lot of hills, mountains. There's a lot of steep hills. And obviously, when you're cycling, there are hills that sometimes literally cause your body to ache as you traverse that hill, as you try to reach the peak, and your body is straining. Every muscle is pushing and thriving to get to the top. But it does. The reason it does that is because it's building strength, endurance, not only in your legs, but in your back and arms, in your lungs, and in your heart, and your heart rate. And it's good for you. It's actually very healthy. I've also learned with resistance, though, even though there are great hills in which, just to the south of me here, there is a massive hill that I have climbed numerous times, and every time it doesn't seem to get any easier. But there's something else I've learned about resistance. That even when you're going downhill and you feel like you have all the momentum, there is something that is invisible that creates resistance. And here in New Mexico, there's just some days it can flat out get so windy that dirt flies to where you can't even see those mountains behind me. And there's been times when I've been going downhill and the wind has been so strong, I've had to pedal my bike just because of resistance, although I was going downhill. You see, resistance is everywhere. I've learned it out here riding these trails. When it rains here in New Mexico, we can get flash floods, and you would literally have dirt, sand, and rock that will just wash out across a road or a trail. And if you're going downhill, and you don't take the time to slow down and you hit one of those patches, you possibly will regret it for a long time. You see, it's resistance. I've learned that taking some of these hills going downhill, they get windy. There's turns in them. But if I'm not paying attention, if I'm not careful, and I don't apply resistance, I don't apply the brake, I will fly through the turn, end up in all the sagebrush you see behind me and cactus, and again, I'm not going to enjoy that for some time. You see, resistance is everywhere. I've been out here on these trails, and there's been other cyclists, there's been other people walking their dogs or jogging. Again, you have to apply resistance and slow down. And the reason why is because you got to be cautious. Listen, resistance is good. It's the only way you're going to build strength in life. Resistance has to be applied. You got to have resistance in your life if you want to have success. But here's something I've learned about most Americans today. Most Americans don't like resistance. We give in to it. We're overweight. We would rather give in to eating whatever we want than eating what is healthy and good. We would rather give in to eating toxic foods instead of the foods that are good and healthy for you. We would rather sit on the couch and watch hours of TV and let resistance eat away at our life and create sickness and disease, a mind of doubt, fear, and worry. Instead of doing something creative and constructive and allowing resistance to build strength and endurance for life. Listen, you may not like resistance, but it's always going to be there. So you might as well use resistance for your good. Because if you'll just put a little bit of weight on the end of the bar and lift it properly, you're going to build strength for a long, healthy life. If you take a book and you read for 30 minutes a day, you're going to build strength for your mind for the rest of your life. If you take 30 minutes a day and just talk to Almighty God, your Creator, and read His book, you'll create a spiritual lifeline that will change your life, your family, and generations to come. Resistance, well, it's everywhere. It's necessary, but it depends on how you choose to use it. God bless everyone. Hope to see you again. Take care.